In today's video, we're learning the most important shortcuts in Canva to speed up your workflow. I've grouped them into certain categories so they're easy to find for you if you want. What we'll do is we'll start with the first one, which is adding elements to the slide. And for that, we have 4 shortcuts. So what you usually do is if you want to add an element is a lot of people go to elements and here type in rectangle. They drag in the rectangle on the screen and that is quite a few clicks. So what you can do instead is you can just go to blank canvas and press the R key to add a rectangle, and it will just add that exact same shape on the slide. You can also repeat this for the C key if you want to add a circle, for the L key if you want to have a line, or the T to have some text on the slide. And this will instantly bring up a text box where you can start typing. And for the second category, we will look at duplicating elements. And for that, we're also going to start from a slide with one element. And let's say we select it, we press Ctrl or Command D on a Mac and create a duplicate. Put it next to the other one and just press Command or Ctrl D again. And it will repeat that same duplication and it will even put it at the same distance. So the spacing is equally. Let me show you that in a different way. So if we put it in a corner, we press Command D and we just match up the corners like this. We repeat Command D and it will create that copy in the same pattern. So it's pretty convenient. And for the next one, we're going to look at tidying up your designs. Let's say you have a couple of elements spread around on your design, but not in a very orderly way. What we can do is we can select them all and then use the shortcut Shift-Option-T to tidy them up. On Windows, that will be Shift-Alt-T, and this will put them spaced evenly, which is pretty nice. It's the same thing as if you go to Position and then use that tidy up feature. So it's pretty nice. And for the next one, we're going to look at selecting different elements. And for that, we have a few elements on the slide. And if we select one, we can, if you now want to select the red one or the yellow one, we can click it. But you can also use the Tab key. So if you use the Tab key, it will move to the next element in line. If you want to go back to the previous one, you can just hold Shift and Tab to go back. Now this might not look that impressive, but if you, for example, have a multi-layer design and you scale them up like this, sometimes they become very hard to select. Let's scale this upwards. And you want to select, for example, the purple one, you can just select an element and skip through it until you have that purple one. Let's say you passed it, you can just Shift, Select, and then Shift Tab backwards until you have that purple one that you increase. So it's a pretty convenient one if you have a multi-layer design to have some selections. Now for the next one, we're going to look at resizing designs. And for that, we're going to start with, for example, a circle, and we put it in the center of the slide. Now let's say you want to have the circle a little bit bigger, so you can increase it from the sizes, but then you have to resize it again. So what you can do instead is you can select the shape, hold the Option key or the Alt key on Windows, and then drag the edges so it scales from the center. So this way you can make it very small or very large and it will always go to that center point, which is pretty convenient if you have the position locked in, but you want to scale it just a bit more. Now let's move to the next one, which is going to be page management. And for that, let's start from a blank slide. And now let's say you want to add a new page to the design. You can go to this Add New Page and repeat that a few times, or go to Add Page at the bottom, and you can delete it using that Delete Page. Now, of course, there's an easier way, and if you press Command Enter or Control Enter on a Windows, you can easily add a new page and repeat that step to add multiple pages. If you want to delete them, you can use Command Backspace or Control Backspace to delete them. So it's pretty convenient if you have quite a large document and you often have to add a new page to the design. Next, we're going to look at the zooming feature, and for that we have 3 shortcuts. We can either zoom in on the page with this standard toggle bar at the bottom, or you can use a shortcut which is Command or Control plus to zoom in. And if you use Control or Command minus, you can zoom out again. Now, cool thing is if you want to go to the default or 100% setting, you can use Command 0 or Control 0 and go to full screen. Now that brings us to the next one, which is hyperlinking. And hyperlinking is often an underrated one. Let's say you have some text on the slide. For example, this is my web page, and you add that to the page and you want to link your website to it. You can select the text box and press Ctrl K. Instead of going to that link, if you do the 3 dots, you can go to link. But you can also use Command K or Control K to add your URL. And here you can just do in, for example, youtube.com/slideskills for my main channel. In this way, you click done, and this is now embedded, and in the presentation mode, you can easily click to that link. And that brings us to the next part, which is going to be the basic text formatting. And for that, I'm going to type a keyword. So let's press T and add a keyword to the slide. Now, if you want to give this some formatting, there's the basic things we can do. We can select the word and press Ctrl or Command B to make it bold. We can press Ctrl or Command U to underline it, and Ctrl or Command I to make it italic. So you can do these steps to add some custom design to your words. Now, these are obviously the basic ones. Let's now look at the advanced text options that we can use. And for the advanced text options, we have 7 different shortcuts that we can use. And the first one is going to be toggling upper or lowercase. So if we select our text box and it's in lowercase right now, we can use the shortcut Shift Command K or Shift Control K to turn it into uppercase letters. If we repeat that, so Shift Command or Control Command K, we turn it into lowercase again. Now the following ones, if you have, for example, text formatting, let me do a copy of the text boxes. And this one we make it bold, and we also want to make it red. We can select this one. We can do Option Command C to copy the text formatting and Option Command V to paste it on this one. So it's pretty nice if you have multiple items that have to be in the same formatting, you can just easily repeat that one. Now for the next one, we're going to look at increasing the font size. So you can select your text box and either go to that plus icon here, or you can just use the shortcut Shift Command and then the plus key to add some pluses to the word. You can repeat it with Shift Command minus to have it reduce again in font size. Now, a cool thing about the following one is if you have some text, so let's add a text box and we do word 1, word 2, word 3. We have a little text box here. And if we want to add a numbered list, we can use Command Shift or Control Shift 7 to add numbers, or we can use Control Shift 8 to turn it into bullet points. So it's a pretty nice way to instantly get some bullet points or numbered lists on your slide. Now let's move on to the next one, which is going to be spacing shortcuts. Normally, if you select the text like this, you can go to this spacing alignment and then add some letter or line spacing to increase or decrease it. If you want to do that with your keyboard, you can easily do it with using Option, Command, and then the arrow key downwards to bring everything closer together. If you just want to nudge it a few things, or if you want to increase it, you Shift or Option Command and increase the arrow space. For Windows, that is of course Alt, Control and down, and Alt, Control and arrow upwards. And the same goes for the letter spacing. So if you do Option, Command and then the comma, you bring everything closer together. If you do Option, Command and the point, you'll bring everything further apart. Same goes on Windows with Alt, Control and comma or Alt, Control and point. Now that brings us to the next one, which is going to be alignment shortcuts. Now for the alignment shortcuts, we have 4 variants. You can either center it, left align, right align, or justify it. And that's an easy shortcut that you can do with Shift Command and then the letter. So let's select the text box. We do Shift Command and R for right to align it right. Shift Command L to align to the left. Shift Command C to do it to the center. And then J to do it in justify. Now, next important one I think is undo and especially a redo in a fast way. So what we can do in a canvas, so let's say we have a few objects right here, we have some circles, and we have accidentally deleted one. We can easily bring it back with Control or Command Z. But if you want to delete it again or redo, you can Control Shift Z or Command Shift Z to bring that back. Now for the next one, we're going to look at quick actions. And for quick actions, we have a shortcut Command E or Control E. So let's do that. And if we select an object, we press Command E, we get the quick actions here. Now it works for if you want to add a border style or corner rounding, but what I think is most important, because if you click this one, it will open here anyway. So I don't think that's too useful. You can just go there and click it anyways. But let's say, for example, you have a rectangle, you press Command or Control E. You have the graphics that match your design below it. So there's a few things below. For example, a shadow, and then you can just add some shadows to your design. So you don't always have to go to the elements section here again, and then look for shadow, for example, look for graphics or photos and drag them in. So they are the most commonly used graphics, which is pretty convenient. Moving on to the next one, which is arranging elements, and that is my favorite one. So here we can see that we have 3 elements on the slide, with the yellow one on top, then we have the red one all the way in the back, and then the blue one in the middle. So what we can do if we want to, for example, bring something forward, like the blue one, we want to bring it forward, we can do Control or Command and then use the bracket to bring it to the front. use the other side of the bracket to send it all the way to the back again. Same works with the other one, so you can easily toggle and play around with the positioning of the layers. So it's pretty convenient if you want to send something a layer forward or a layer backward. Now let's say you want to not do it one layer at a time, but for example like this. The red is now on top and you want to send the red all the way to the back. You can just do Option, Command, and then send to back to send it all the way to the back of the layers. So it's the same as using the right click, layer, and then going one forward or backward or all the way to the back or to the front. Same works if you want to send it to the front. You do Option, Command, and then forward to bring it all the way to the front. The next one is going to be View Modes. And for that one, we also have 4 shortcuts. Now I'll minimize it since we will be working here at the bottom. Now in Canva, there's 4 view modes. There's a scroll mode, the one we're in right now, where everything's on top or below each other. Here's the thumbnail view, where we can see the little thumbnails here at the bottom. There's the grid view, where we can see them all scattered in one overview. And then of course there's presentation mode, where we put it on full screen. Now you can easily shift between those two without always having to go and click on one of those. So we press Option, Command, or Alt, Control, and 1 to go to scroll. Option, Command, and 2 to go to the next one. Option, Command, 3 for the grid view. And then, of course, if we are in one of those, we can press Option, Command, P for the presentation mode and continue from there. Now for the next one, we're looking at Search and Find to find some specific elements in the presentation. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create some duplicates of the text items. And then, for example, on the second one here, I'm going to add the word apple. So we're going to look for that one. And now if we have an entire document with a lot of text and we want to look for a specific word, we can use the feature Command F or Control F and then type in our word apple, and it will highlight that in our entire document. So in a small document, it doesn't matter, but if you have a few hundred pages with a lot of text, it might be easy to find a specific word. And that brings us to the last one, and that is maybe the most important one, where if you, for example, accidentally close one of the windows that shouldn't have been closed and you want to get it back, you can easily do Command-Shift-T or Control-Shift-T to open up that tab again in Canva. And you can just close it, it doesn't matter, you can always bring it back, and it works for multiple ones at a time. So if you close a few, you can just repeat that and bring up all the previous tabs. So these were my shortcuts that have helped me out a lot in the past 2 years in Canva. Definitely let me know which one was your favorite below, and if you want to learn more about Canva, make sure to watch the video on screen right now.